So we brought him to Huddersfield University to meet research scientist Dr. Laura Waters.
So butter is a really simple product. It's literally just butter, fat and water. It's as simple as you can get. If you go to the margarines, they would be vegetable oil based, and the spreads, they would tend to be oil and butter mixtures. They would have a lot less butter in them.
How can you make butter more spreadable?
Well, you can make your own spreadable butter. The way that industry does it is it adds in oils, it will add in some water, and because of that it will also add other ingredients as well. So it will need to add some emulsifier, which keeps the oil and water mixed together. Industry may also add things such as preservatives to extend the shelf life, colourings and flavourings. Would you like me to show you how to make spreadable butter?
Yes, please.
If you're going for the, say, 60% butter option, obviously it's going to be 60% butter and 40% oil. So we have 60 grams of butter in there. To this, we're going to add 40 of oil. And you simply mix the two together. Now, it may look at this stage like liquid rather than a solid. Once you've cooled this down in the fridge, then it will return to a more butter-like consistency that you might expect.
Dr. Waters is making up two different types of spreadable butter for us to put to the test. One was 60% butter, similar to some of the brand-leading spreadables, and one with 25%, around the same amount as the butter pack that John bought. And we're going to see how they fare in one of the toughest tests of all, baking a cake. We've set up our own buttery bake-off, and we've asked these enthusiastic bakers from Huddersfield to create their meanest Victoria sponge. Each will use one of 4 different ingredients: the 2 spreads Dr. Waters has just made, a real butter and a margarine. Now, our bakers have no idea which they've been given, but Irene here is cooking with full butter.
It feels like the butter that I use actually when I'm baking at home.
Megan is using a simple baking spread, an off-the-shelf margarine that contains no pure butter whatsoever. Kay has Dr. Waters' 60% butter spread, and Lucy has Dr. Waters' 25% butter spread.
It's a lot easier to whisk than theirs, so I put that going for it.
So, ingredients beaten, battered, baked, cooled and decorated. It's time to add some real heat for our bakers, as these discerning staff and students arrive to judge their culinary creations.
It's a funny consistency, isn't it? There's something about the sponge that just doesn't sit right.
Needs a bit more sugar. Oh, it needs to be sweeter, yeah.
So, question is, which spread came out best in our test? Well, most popular with our volunteers was the one made with margarine. 5 of them went for that one. 2 preferred the taste of the cake made with Dr. Waters' 60% butter spread. And 1 plumped for the one made with 25% butter. But none of them chose the cake made with pure butter.
I'm quite surprised. This was made with 25% butter spread, and I'd consider using that myself.
The sponge was very nice. I thought it was perfect, in my opinion.
No, I'm not surprised it's made from margarine.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
So there you go, top marks for margarine on the baking. But all of this still leaves John with one crucial question.
So we've been hearing over the past few years that butter's good for you, butter's not good for you, margarine is good for you, and margarine isn't. Which is good, which is bad?
There are lots of studies which seem to say that the saturated fats, so there's things such as the butter, they're not so good for you. They can cause cardiovascular disease, they can cause types of cancer, that sort of thing. However, there are also lots of other studies on the unsaturated fats, so that's the oil-based products, which say they're not so good for you either. And this is especially true if you're cooking with one of these products. So because there are studies for both sides, I would say just keep it in moderation, go for the one you prefer, and if you don't have too much of either of them, then you should be fine.
But for John, there's no doubt which one he prefers: butter.
The taste is so much better. I know it's personal preference, but at least I know what has gone into the product.